WTF, we're doing a podcast. I'm Nikki.
And I'm Michelle. This is 50. Welcome to What the 50. Join us on our continued journey to simplify our lives.
We will seek the answers from the experts and offer tips, tools, and techniques to live your life with confidence and joy. Are we ready?
Let's go.
Hello, Michelle.
Hi, Nikki.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
So this is another part of our
Season.
and how we evolve as women, right?
Yes. And I think it almost feels as if we're evolving day by day, because as we have gone through a few episodes already, I'm learning more things about you.
Of course.
I'm learning more about myself. And I think it's really mind-blowing that at this stage we're learning so much, and creating the support system that we need. And we're literally talking about almost like we're talking about our everyday lives.
Yes.
This is what's happening to us as we speak,
For sure.
So that's a good thing.
It is. So we're talking about sisterhood.
Yes.
So I have 4 sisters, but they're a lot older than me.
Okay.
And the sister that's closest in age to me, she was 9 years older than me. She had severe cerebral palsy. So she was, we had to take care of her. She didn't talk. She didn't really interact with the family as much. And then my 3 older sisters are like 12, 16, and 18 years older than me.
So you're the baby.
Right. So I didn't really grow up with sisters when I was like young, like normal sisters. They were more like my parents. They were more like my mother. And then as I mentioned before, I think I moved to Canada and I was living with my older sister there for a while.
And I'm sure, which we'll get into as you have gotten older, the relationship with your sisters has changed, right?
For sure.
So we'll get into that. So for me, my thing was similar to yours. I didn't grow up with my sisters. I actually have 5 sisters.
5? Wow.
I didn't grow up with any of them, and that's for another episode. But I actually have 6 sisters. 1 passed. So
how can we forget you?
So, but we'll get into that in another episode. But I didn't grow up with any of them. I met my sisters as adults, and they quickly became my friends.
Right.
But when I was growing up, though, my dad had a huge family, so I had a lot of cousins. So my cousins became my. I mean, we call ourselves cousins and cuz friends and cuz bro and cuz sis and all of that. So I had those relationships with my cousins, which we still have.
Right.
And they were, fantastic relationships. And then I had friends who became my sister friends.
Right.
I know in Jamaica, when you have a family friend, that automatically becomes your Jamaican cousin.
Right.
But the beauty of, as we'll get into, of these relationships is that we grow through those relationships, and we create that support that is needed throughout our lives. And there are times when the relationships may change a little bit, or what we need at that moment may change, but we have those core friendships that will stay with us, and we have to do, which we'll get into our tips. There are things that we have to do to maintain those relationships because they have to be reciprocal.
Well, I think your family becomes your core, almost. Well,
your first friends, really.
Right. Definitely in my family. I was talking about it with my cousin yesterday, and my sister, was that my grandparents were very intentional, and I'm sure I've spoken about this before, about creating that bond. The 5 houses lived together. We celebrated a lot of things together. And we're having family reunions still, and they still talk all about that because they were around when I was barely around.
So you almost live that time through them.
Right.
You hear all the stories.
Right.
Remember when we used to do that?
Right. So now my closest cousins in age on my father's side are like 5, 6, 7, and 8 years older
Mhm.
than me, and they're the ones that we were the ones left in Jamaica, so they're the ones I have some relationship with,
Mhm.
a closer relationship with, and my cousin's son is
Mhm.
2 weeks older than me, so
Mm.
we also had that type of relationship.
Relationship,
But
yeah.
that's your core, right?
Mhm. That's your core.
Mhm.
But even though that's our core, we still have to do things, put things in place to make sure that we feed that core.
Of course.
We can't take it for granted just because.
Mhm.
So just to backtrack a little bit, so I met my sisters, we were all adults,
Okay.
but the absolute beautiful thing about it is that we became friends
Right.
immediately.
And you have a great
And I
relationship
have
with
a
your
great
sister, yeah.
relationship with my sisters. And it's something that I really treasure because we have created that bond that nothing will ever break that. No matter what, they'll always be my family, right?
Right,
You
of
can't
course.
change that. And it's a great feeling when I can say, meet my sister.
I know.
It's a great feeling when I can talk about my little sister. And I mean, sometimes they will try to mother me, right? But it's great when I can have that contribution to their life and their children's lives.
Right, of course.
It's a feeling that I never had before.
Mhm.
And so, of course, things like sibling rivalry and all of that, I never had that. I mean, I don't know if I should wish I had that, but because that's a real thing, but I never had that. And we really I have a different relationship with all of them, but I have great relationships with each of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think as we have grown older, I think honestly, my sisters had mothered me, but now
Right.
I feel like I'm the mother to them.
The roles have switched.
I know, but it's okay, you know. But and I'm close to a lot of my nieces and nephews because they're closer to me in age too. So
So to get to friendships though, it's a beautiful thing when your sister can be your friend.
Mhm.
And we have to, I mean, like Simone and I do a lot of things together. And there are times when Sim will call me and she says, Mish, we haven't seen each other for a little bit. I mean, we see each other, but we haven't spent time.
Right.
Let's have lunch on Saturday. So, we have to be intentional, and
Of
we
course.
get into those tips. We have to be intentional about maintaining those relationships. We can't take them for granted. And life happens, we all have children, or we all have responsibilities. We have parents, or things that will happen, and time passes. But we have to find the time, create the time, create
course.
some more memories
Of
with
course.
our family. And there are things that we have to do intentionally to ensure that it happens.
Yeah, you have to just show up and support, right?
Show up and
Show
support.
up for the milestones, the same thing we talked about
Mhm.
with parenting.
So we'll go a little bit into friendship, as I mentioned, or our sisters being our friends. We also have friends that have become a part of our village, part
Right.
of our tribe, whatever you want to call it, community,
Mhm.
tribe, but support system is a key thing. And I don't think any one of us can honestly say that we can survive
Without
our tribe, our support system, our sister friends, or friends who are family.
right.
I think our friends will play different roles in our lives because we have friends from different eras. You have your friends from university, you have your friends from your other group there.
My coaching,
Your coaching,
my coaching
right? Your
colleagues,
coaching,
yes,
right?
yes. No, for sure.
And they play different roles because what your high school friends have a different role from your coaching friends.
Right.
And you meet people along the way, and there's some commonality that creates that friendship. You and I met in the PTA.
Right.
I remember seeing you walking down the spine. I'm like, who's that again? Oh, that's Nikki. Oh, okay. And then we're in the same meeting, and then we became friends.
Yes. Yeah, for me, we had a group of friends in high school, and funny enough, we call ourselves the Rainbow Gang. Yeah, I was magenta because everybody had a different color, and purple is my favorite color. So I'm still quite close to, a few of those people. Well, we're friends with all of them, but I'm
Yes.
really close to, really two of them out of
The
the group.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have my university friends, one of them who was on the podcast and whatever. But yeah, and then as you said, we have our mother friends, And that's a big empty nest thing, right?
Yes.
Because people say that you miss that friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Like my sister went to the football game. She goes, Nikki, you should have come because all your friends are here.
You should have come.
But
Yeah, and I have friends from different times in my life, and I treasure all of them.
of course.
You know, when I left, my girlfriend, she's my oldest friend, we met when I was 5 years old, and she's the godmother of JP, and I'm the godmother of her son. And, we've maintained that friendship all these years.
Nice.
I mean, I have my girlfriends who are in the States, I have my girlfriends who are here, and we don't have a huge girlfriend group.
Like you move with a tribe.
Right.
Yes.
But these are friends that I can call on
Right.
at any time for anything, and they'll be
Same.
there for me, and I'll be there for them for sure.
And the thing is with those type of friends, like same with my Canadian friends, is that we might go a month, 2 months without talking to each other. But as soon as we talk, it's
right
or
where
we
you left
meet,
off.
like exactly.
Yeah. So I have a girlfriend who she just lives 2 seconds from me. We spend a lot of time together. But then I have friends who are in the States that we may not, like you, we may not speak every single day.
Right.
But once we make that call, once I'm there or she's here, we're connecting. So I think that, and we know that loneliness is actually an epidemic. We need our friends, we need that support, and we have to do whatever is necessary to maintain those relationships. And like I said, it has to go both ways, right?
Of course.
So we have some tips.
Yes, of how. So my first tip, or our first tip actually, is don't commiserate. It's easy to get together with your group of friends and start complaining about this and complaining about that. And I'm not saying that you don't look for your support from your friend, but once you start commiserating,
misery loves company.
right? That just brings down the energy and it serves no purpose.
It does. And I think that we have to find the positivity in as much as we can. And there's sometimes
that's our second tip.
Right. So there are times when it really does feel like doom and gloom, but we have to bring that smile. We have to offer something that there must be some silver lining. It can't be all negative. And that's where you feel that support. The support doesn't have to be, as you said in the first tip, all doom and gloom. So we find that support for friends.
I think it's key to find that group that will offer growth.
For sure.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. In fact, Oprah talks about, you have those friends that will jump in the limousine with you, but the real friends are the ones that will take the bus with you when the limousine breaks down. And they're the ones that will pull you up and say, come on, let's get this done.
Exactly.
And they're not, waddling down there with you, but they ensure that, as you said, that you grow.
Right.
They want the best for you. You want the best for each other.
Right. And I think you and I really have that relationship.
Yes, for sure.
Because I'll be down and Michelle will be dragging and vice versa. And we are.
And it's important.
Right.
And I think too, what we need to also point out is that in the friendships, whether it's a sister or your friend, there are going to be different personalities.
Of course.
Right? Personalities will differ. And so we have to learn to understand and accept those differences. So that is how the friendship will grow. And that's how we help to grow each other.
Of course.
So tip number 3.
Is support each other's children.
So important.
Yeah,
Nikki.
I know.
And the first thing you said to me.
It sounds simple, but it's
it's so important. And the first thing when something good happens to my children, the joy that you express, the genuine joy that you express is warmth for my heart, because I know that Nikki really wants the best for my children. And it is same thing.
I know, yes, for sure.
I was talking about Kaylon yesterday, and I said, I'm going to go to the Oscars and see Kaylon. Because that's DiCaprio right there.
And we can't say how happy we are that Zacho is head boy.
Yeah.
Well, anyhow,
it's a good thing.
I knew it wasn't.
It
was a given.
I'm blessed for that. So we support each other and we find things to uplift each other
Of course.
as best as we can, because, you know, life happens.
And also, when we go back to the supporting of each other's children, I know that if any of my boys were in problems, I could say, Mish,
Immediately,
right,
immediately.
Yes,
Yeah, man,
yes, for sure.
immediately. And they need to know that too.
right.
It's important for our children to also know that, you know, if
There's
mom
a
is not
support
around, I
system.
can call Auntie Niki.
Right. And I think what happens too is that sometimes women or parents, I'm not sure if it's the women or the men, they can get competitive with their children.
I know, and
Yeah.
sadly, it's true.
Right.
And we see that in sports, in academics.
But we just have to like
But you
everybody
know
is
what?
different.
Those that know better just do better.
Right.
And I will not, and neither of us will do that. We won't engage someone once they're going down that road. We're
Yeah.
not going to jump in.
Right.
You know, we'll pull up and find a positive
Don't
spin.
commiserate,
Don't
right?
commiserate. There
Right.
must be a positive spin.
Another tip is when you are with your friends or your sisters, like support is a big thing. So let's talk in a we.
Yes, yes, not I.
Right.
Yeah.
Like if someone is having a health crisis or someone is having a family crisis, or you need to offer support, just like, okay, how are we going to
That's really important.
face this situation?
And just using the word we just changes the whole atmosphere, don't you think?
Lets you feel less alone, right?
Absolutely. Even though you can, I remember a friend of mine lost his daughter, and I said, I don't understand how, I won't pretend to understand how you feel. And he said to me, I don't want you to.
Oh.
But the important thing is, I tried as best as I could to offer that support, even though I could not literally feel or understand that emotion.
Right.
But I tried to make it a we.
Right.
You know? So I think I love the fact that when you mention we, it just changes everything.
Right. Yeah. And number 5, this is a little hard one, is don't take anything personally.
That's hard.
Yes.
That's very hard. Because if Nikki has a party and doesn't invite me,
but you never know the
it.
circumstances, right? It's like, for
So
instance,
if Nikki has a party and does not invite me, I shouldn't take it personally, because I know if the circumstances were okay for me to be there,
right,
Nikki would have invited me.
right. It's
So
not
that's
because I didn't
not
want
because you
to
didn't
come.
want, or because you forgot.
Right,
You didn't forget me. It's just not the right atmosphere.
right.
Okay.
for
So, and I
sure.
have to understand that. And I have to wish you well.
Of
And
course.
tell you, have a great party. Make sure you tell me about it, though. you know.
Right. And how, because sometimes we try to like shield people from things so we don't want them to feel bad.
And that makes it worse.
But yeah, but
That makes it worse.
yeah. And also too, like the birthday thing, I remember one of my good friends from university, I was having this big conversation with her on my birthday, and all now she didn't say happy birthday. So I knew that if she knew it was my birthday,
Should have said something
or if it
right
was
away.
clicked in or checked the date, it was a Saturday, so she probably didn't even have the dates out. And I said, hey, you know, it's my birthday. She goes, oh my God. But I didn't take it personally because I knew that it's not that.
Under different circumstances,
Right.
she would have remembered.
Right.
But something we didn't touch on, which I actually just thought about, was social media. And sometimes, you know, we go on Instagram or go on Facebook, and you see someone has thousands of followers, thousands of likes. But does that equate to friendship?
Of course not, I don't
It does
think.
not.
Of course.
It does not.
Those people are probably some of the
loneliest people.
you know.
Also, WhatsApp, you can send WhatsApp messages, you're keeping in touch. Not really. Sometimes you have to just pick up your phone and call. I have a girlfriend, Jamila, who will say to me, Mish, I can't do the WhatsApp thing, and she'll just call me.
Right.
And we've been friends since university. And sometimes we can hide behind the technology, whether it's Instagram, WhatsApp, whatever. But I think sometimes just picking up that phone, hey, how you doing?
I have to be better with that, I have to admit.
So keeping in touch,
Mhm.
you know, that person-to-person contact is really important, because I can have a full-on conversation with you, and you don't know that I'm in my bed under my comforter, you know, feeling really blue.
Right.
You won't necessarily know that.
Right.
Or you may not pick it up, you know, from the texting, but when we pick up the phone, you can hear my voice and you can say, well, Michelle, what's going on?
Right.
You know?
I
So-
can usually tell from your text though.
uh-oh. So, keeping in touch, real, conversations, pick up the phone. It doesn't have to be an hour
Right.
conversation.
But
Hey,
that's
how you
true.
doing?
I need to intentionally put that to call people.
We have
for
to do
sure.
that. And sometimes it gets a little, you forget sometimes, you take
Yeah.
things for granted, but it just take a second.
For sure.
Just take a second. One of the things I do in the mornings when I get up, and I try not to be on the phone, but there's a little half an hour. My brother calls me from New York, or I will call him, or I call Simone and I will message each other. She calls me on her way to work because she has that 15-minute
Right.
time. So we find the time. Casey will call me on her way from the gym. So we find the time to just 2 minutes. Natalie calls me on her way from work. So it doesn't have to be any long conversation with touch base.
Right.
And a day will pass. I'm like, 1 second, I didn't speak to so-and-so today. It feels weird now because we have that routine.
Right.
So it's critical with developing and maintaining those relationships.
For sure.
Yeah.
But speaking of sisterhood, we have a nice little
I can't wait
to come up. I think that
I just love them.
part of our What the 50 team, if we could consider, is Shantae. She does a lot of work for us.
Right.
She edits all of our podcasts, does a lot of our social media,
Mhm.
and she has a great relationship with her sisters.
But stop before you say that. Remember, her sister
Right,
is also our
photographer,
Yeah.
then she's also my accountant.
Mhm.
So it's with Sash. And I've always admired their relationships. And they have another sister, what I have never met,
Mhm.
Shoya.
But we'll meet her virtually, I guess.
Yes. And she lives in Dominica and she's a therapist, but they really, really love each other.
And her little sister.
Betty Ann. I don't think Betty is going to be in the
the
mix.
little
It's
chat?
just the big
Okay.
girl.
Gotcha.
So it's Sash, Shoya, and Shantae. All the but they're not
Not at all.
I love them because they're
a lot of fun.
They're bright
fun, yes.
and they're genuinely nice people.
Yeah, they
Love
are.
them. Love
Love
them.
them.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Niki and Mish. And for all you viewers and listeners, you may be wondering, who is this? Well, we're taking over just a section of What the 50 podcast today because, as Mish and Niki said, we're focusing on sisters, and I would love to introduce you to myself as well as my amazing sisters. My name is Shantae Grant, and I have my sisters Shoyege Grant Massicott and Sashoy Grant Bartley with me. And we're just gonna bless you with our energy and our vibe just for like 10 minutes. And we have some questions that Niki and Mish sent through. So the first question is, what's the best thing about being sister friends? So I'll let Shoya take that question.
I mean, how much time we have?
We'll just have 10 minutes.
Okay, all right. Mama tell you, the best part of being sister friends is, I don't know, like just the safety and the security and the feeling like you can just totally be yourself. Like it's kind of like having like a cheat. It's like a cheat thing. Some people have friendships and they check like somebody can just ditch them anytime and whatever, right? But like being sisters, they can't ditch you.
Exactly.
But at the same time, you can be like really authentic and you can be yourself and you can be messy and so somebody always like cheer you on, right? I always like listen. And the best thing is I feel like we all are going through the stages of our lives in a very similar way. So like we're all wives, we're all moms. So like we have a lot of things going on. So it's not like one of us feel like we're left behind in the whole process, But it's just like we just feel like the best of both worlds. Bam.
I love that. Me too. So Sash, what's your favorite memory of us together?
Favorite memory? Downstairs on the kitchen table, standing on the kitchen table and singing with the fork and the spatula.
And don't forget the dancing. So, we'll have so many videos that are just blacklisted because nobody can see it.
Nobody can see the video there.
What's yours?
I think it's the late nights. So many people don't know, but like Shoya and I shared a room together for like 24
5
years. And then I got so attached to sleeping with Shoya that when Shoya got married and moved to Dominica, I just could not sleep by myself. And then Sash is like, don't worry, girl, I'll sleep with you. And she slept with me until I got married. So literally, I've never been sleeping by myself my entire life. And I
Look at
don't
you.
mind it. I know, I don't mind it. I love it. So it's just the late night pillow talks, talking about boyfriends, talking about fairs, talking about exams. And then, you know, Sasha's like a bigger sister, right? So she did kind of age out of us because she did in our own room. So we never did it really too close. But then when she moved in and then we start talking about, you know, I feel like that just evolved our friendship, relationship, sistership. And it's
I
like,
really know. You know, one separate room, but you were unaware of everything, even though you didn't in the
Talk the
same
truth,
room.
Munchie.
In
Talk the
the other
truth.
room,
Because I could talk the things
but
them.
I think in the other room, I'm coming here because
I could,
you just
I could talk the things them. I could talk, but oh, we staying in the same room, so whatever. Because first of all right, so everybody don't know, but I have lupus, right? So I had some horrible nights. In the night, them, Munchie, they in the same room beside me, I'm a royal in pain, and Munchie be snoring. Sasha the one always come from the other room, come rescue me, and tell me, say, do I can't white like girl, don't I? Right?
well, you
If it
know,
was
the thing is,
Munchie,
sleep off a make, right? Sleep off a make and not bother my sleep. So for viewers, I'm Shantae and I'm also Munchi, right? So just in case you're wondering. But like,
maybe you will get the sleeping thing from.
maybe, yeah, because you take sleep for everything now. All right. So Shaya, what's your favorite memory?
I don't know. Boy, I have so much, Jesus. Maybe it's have to do something with the singing and the dancing too. One of them time they were all away, like after the let me tell you, after hurricane, hey,
No lie.
no light, right? It's after the hurricane. Remember the specific memory after I think it was Ivan, right? And whenever I have no lights and mommy they have to cook up the whole heap of the chicken them and so quick so it not spoil. I'll eat whole heap of food. I remember like we done there with Joe and Sheva them and all of them. Right, and we start seeing the storm is over. we take that to a different level. The storm is over. Or when we there sing that when the storm did finally end, and we just have a bag of food, and whenever they go school, and boy, it is nice.
Like personally for me, being your sisters, and you know, we don't really have much time, so we're just wrapping up now. Being your sisters is like the best gift I've ever had.
Even though if some people listen to this, they'll say we're unhealthy. Like
Yeah, because fun fact, we've never argued before.
We never vex, we never malice, we never
yeah.
We
Yeah.
share
debate,
everything.
we debate, we disagree, but it's the fighting thing and the vexing thing.
No, but like
Oh.
with debates, them strong and intellectual, and it always
Intense.
it's intense, and it always leads to, you know, giving each other grace and taking their each other's side. I've never been upset with you guys. I'm not jealous of you, no.
Never.
Never that.
Me
Never.
love when you know succeed and
Yeah. And fun fact, right? We talk to each other every day, right?
Yeah.
No matter what we do.
Every day.
Single day.
We share
And
everything.
everything,
Everything,
right?
even pregnancy, because all of we did pregnant at the same time.
Yeah.
It was not planned.
It was not planned. And a fun fact, we work for each other, with each other.
That's true. Yeah, like families don't really work together. It don't really work, but it works for us. Like people have considered our relationship, what you call it, Sash?
Unhealthy.
Because we
Best friend thing
absolutely love
very
each other.
unhealthy.
Yeah, like if we see each other on the road today, or we see each other on the road 5 minutes from now, it's like
It's like a year soon as each other.
Excitement.
But yeah, I mean, being your sisters is just like the best thing that's ever happened to me. Like,
yeah.
From the distance. The distance affects me a lot. Just
Yeah, the
the
distance.
Yeah.
I
I
think
think that's
our,
our major challenge.
yeah, our parents did taught us everything except how to live far from each other.
Yeah.
Like otherwise, like it rough.
Otherwise, oh my gosh, you guys are my girlfriends, my girl crushes, my role models.
Boy, like me really love them. I really love. Like I feel like having sisters made everything so much more special, right? Having sisters made everything like the hard time. We go through the hard time, the time they when we have plenty, the times when we would not have nothing, the times when we're happy.
yeah.
The time when we go through some depths of sadness and agony, right? Sickness and health. We make woman good time and bad, right? Ever and ever. But I must admit, honestly, God's greatest gift ever.
The stability, the consistency,
Mm.
the love.
Mm.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you so much, ladies.
There.
I'll talk to you soon.
Bye, babies.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of What the 50. Please show your love and encouragement by sharing, subscribing, and leaving a review wherever you're listening.
And don't forget to like and follow us on Instagram, and please join our active Facebook group at what.the50.